All right. Good morning, listeners. Welcome to Tuesdays with Jim and Bex with our coffee. Jim, you got your coffee?
Got it right here. Good morning, everyone.
Jim, what kind of coffee do you have in there?
Right now, I am drinking coffee that I made from home. Okay, if you get to know me, it's a coffee with pumpkin spice creamer. It's silk
Ooh.
almond pumpkin spice that I put in my coffee. And my coffee is mixed of both Folgers and vanilla.
Ooh, I might need to get that recipe from you. That sounds delicious.
Yes, it's very, very easy, and it just adds a little extra flavor and a very good cup of coffee.
I got my dark roast from Starbucks from home.
Nice.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So excited to just kick off these Tuesday coffees with us for our listeners and to work through our book study with Overbooked. Our first book is Find Your Why. So good so far, right, Jim?
That's right.
So, without further ado, I guess we should introduce ourselves. My name is Rebecca Gibney. I'm the curriculum and online learning specialist here at Blast Intermediate Unit 17. Jim, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jim Reinheimer. I am an educational consultant here at Blast IU 17. I focus on many different areas of special education, including areas of autism and some other areas with behavior and just a lot of different areas of reach and support. So, including my work here with Becky, we get to work together a lot.
Yeah, I feel like at the IU, like people always ask me, what do you do? And, we just do whatever's needed for anyone.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, many different hats we wear, and that's what keeps our job interesting. Speaking of interesting, Jim, I feel like we should let our listeners know who we are outside of work or a little bit more on the personal side. Tell us something boring about you. Nothing
Boring.
boring. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm hoping we could still get everyone to still watch this after I say something boring about me. Okay, let's see. Which one should I choose? I guess I tell boring jokes.
Mm.
And I don't think they're boring, but of course I was called cheesy jokes. So, but they're funny anyway. So, but something else about me, do you know what? I have to say, I like to alphabetize my CDs that I have at home, as well as movies on DVD. Still have a VHS as well,
Whoa.
as well as my tapes that I actually will still listen to a tape in my truck that has a tape deck and a CD player. So in some ways, I'm kind of like nostalgic. So I kind of revisit other decades of music as well as today's music. And I have to say, in some other ways, yeah, that's probably some interesting fact about me, or it could be kind of boring to some. So, Becky, how about what would be a boring fact or something about you?
Man. Well, first of all, you should probably come and organize all of my books by alphabetical order. That would be amazing if you could do that for me. But
Okay, I'll be right after we're done here.
great. Probably I have a new obsession with glasses, maybe during this whole COVID part. Like, people don't see, they only see like from your face up. So I have this obsession with glasses, and yes, they're prescription, but I use Zenny, so secretly my husband doesn't know, but I have like 10 plus pair of glasses. You have to like accessorize, they have to match your outfit. I don't know. It's fun. So,
Yes, I actually wear glasses myself too.
yeah.
Maybe one of these, maybe during one of our weeks, I'll put on my pair of glasses. I usually wear them to see far
Ooh.
distance, or sometimes to present in front of a large group, or to see, like I said, when I'm driving. But I usually don't wear them all the time. But maybe one of these times I'll have to, because then now I'm feeling I may have to style along with you, Bex.
There we go. There we go. So let's talk about this whole overbooked idea, right? What's how have you been feeling? Like, how has this pandemic? Are you feeling overbooked?
To be honest with you, in many ways, even before the pandemic, I would feel overbooked just because of just the many tasks that needs to be completed in a day. And I always feel like I fall behind. Same time, when I've learned that when I try to keep on the same task, I know not everything can be done in one day. So I start to feel myself a little overwhelmed, overbooked, as we know, our books starting off about. But in a way, since the pandemic, it's helped me to become a little more better organized in a
Mhm.
way, to know that during the pandemic, to also focus on what we need to do for our own self growth, as well as what we can like I remember one quote my dad said to me before he passed away, and he said, every day take time for you. You need to make time for yourself. And
So important.
I learned, yes, so very, very important. It's something that I'm learning to do a little something for myself every day. So I'm even, if I'm not doing that first thing in the morning, and it might be taking the dog for a walk, taking in the fresh air outside, or like in the evening, the same thing. But in the evening, I take more time for me as well. So, and just try to live and live and love in the moment.
That's awesome. I love that. Live and love in the moment. That's great.
Yes. Thanks, Bex. And so, how about you? How have you been feeling?
Well, I guess there's a lot of moving parts, I guess, in our days, even just outside of work too, not so much just work. Going home, and I've got 3 dogs and my husband, and I coach college basketball, so like everything, like keeping it all organized. But it's so weird, and I hate saying this, but before the pandemic, I was so go, go, go. Like like being at home was just out of my comfort zone. I just love to do. And during the pandemic, it really made me slow down and appreciate home, which is
Yes.
something I have not had. And so it was nice, and now I never thought about it until the past week. I think I'm struggling getting back to, I mean, we're still in the pandemic, but we're a lot more in the busy times of it. I'm struggling getting out of the pandemic kind of thing. Mindset, at least, of being
Yes.
home. Still want to be at home and relaxing and not answering
Mhm.
all these texts and emails and things. So different.
Becky, you brought up so many great points in that statement you just said. And I think, and you just helped me to just think about something else. When you said about getting back from the pandemic and getting back to where we were, like part of me is thinking, what parts of, like we were always say, I keep hearing, like, I just can't wait till things go back to normal. And
Mhm.
heard from another person who inspires me that I listen to every day and through podcasts. And that is like, what part of normal do you want to go back to?
Right.
So it's like, in a way, this pandemic also has helped me to appreciate more. And it's helped me to focus on what parts I want to go more back to. And in that way, I'm there now. And at the same time, you know what? If I am given more responsibility, I also feel like I'm needed. So like feeling needed is so wonderful to feel. And it's like, what can I do to help either bring a smile or just offer an inspiring, encouraging word to
Yeah.
someone?
Yeah, I say it every day. Please help me to make an impact in at least one person's life. I'm not gonna lie, I took that from Rachel Hollis, but she's my girl. But I love that line. Like, please just help me make an impact in at least one person. And I'm not gonna lie, Jim, on the weekends, when we talk about overbooked, weekends are for me and my husband and family. And I always say, please help me make an impact in my own life. Like, let me fill my own
Yes.
cup, you know?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we've been talking about this overbooked idea and thoughts. We know we're all feeling it. What have you done in the past week that has helped you not feel so overbooked? Some of your self-care.
Great question. And I do have to real quick go back to when you mentioned your girl Rachel. I got my quote from Dave Hollis.
Oh, look at see.
Oh, right there. So yes.
Yeah,
On the
perfect.
past week, I would have to say you know, in the past week, like I said, my role during the day, I've been on the go. I've been busy out, you know, out working with other professionals, seeing some students at the same time, and that gives me a sense of purpose. I feel like I'm there to maybe just offer a little help and support, which makes me feel great. At the same time, in the evening, I try to make that time to spend with my family
Mhm.
and my, of course, my two dogs, who are like my children. I love them. They make me feel great.
Your puppy is so cute. He's so
Yes,
cute.
I will show pictures in another session. It's
Yeah.
still for that. So, but the weekend, like you said, you brought up about the weekend. This past weekend, I spent with my mom. And I try to, every opportunity I get when I get to visit with my mom, just to take those moments and spend with her. And even if I'm helping her clean, we're doing something together. So it's just finding that time.
Yeah.
And you know what? You could always have materials, but you know what? Time and spending time just makes so much and those feelings. So, and it helps us just to get ready for the week ahead and continue this journey that we're on.
Yeah, for sure. Jim, it's so funny. You have like all these great philosophical, like you spend time with family. You want to know what I did? So
What'd you
bad.
do?
I blame Brooke later for it. Um, I
I hope she's not watching this.
she better watch this. No,
Yes.
I literally sat and binge watched on Sunday a Netflix series. I think
Ooh.
Grace and Frankie or Frankie and Grace or whatever. I literally binge watched for 11 episodes. I hate to admit that, but you know what? Sometimes we just have to do those things. And
Those
now I'm
ladies crack me up.
right. It's okay. Like to give for myself permission. It's hard for me, Jim, to give myself permission to do
Yes.
nothing for a day and sit in sweats and just watch TV. It's hard for me to give myself permission, but it's so important.
We need to give ourselves permission at times.
Right?
My downfall is I need to give myself more permission.
Yeah.
So that's
That's a
my
good thing.
area.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And since you just brought that up, yes, I hope Brooke is watching this. So this is, you know, that's why I said, good binge watching Netflix, whatever makes us feel great. So
right. And again, we'll be revisiting these on each of our live streams every Tuesday of what we've done in the past week to help us feel a little bit less overbooked. And hopefully our listeners can also reflect and comment and think about what they have done throughout the week to help them feel less overbooked. But Jim,
yes.
let's dive into the book that we're working on for the first session, Find Your Why by Simon Sinek, David Mead, and Peter Docker. And Jim, why don't you start? Why this book? Why are you excited to dive into this one?
Well, I was going to say, Becky, just in the first night when we started speaking, I was running an errand for you. And I think I came over to your house and I met your dog, you met my puppy that night. And we just started to talk about some of these mindful moments. And then all of a sudden you said, Jim, we should do a book study. I'm like, you know what? That'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
And I thought, and then we started to talk and then all of this came about. So we started thinking about like, what is our purpose? Like, what do we want to do for this book study? And we keep thinking, okay, here's another book to read. Here's another assignment. But no, it's so much. It's not that. It's just in this way, we wanted to find your why, for example, our first book of the series. It's like just trying to help find your why in the role. Why do you love doing what you do? It's that why. It's just something to help find your purpose and at the same time, help you to enjoy doing what you do so that it just helps your plate just feel that much more meaningful. So I've started reading this book. I love it. I try to sit down every opportunity I get and just to sit, and even if it's just a couple of pages a day, it's just that few pages that makes me feel inspired. And if it's okay, do you want me to go a little bit further as far as what just one fact, something that I got out of this just our forward part of this book. And to me, this means so much to me because when I'm able to, I love to run or go for walks, just to go out for walks, not for timing, just to get out, enjoy the beauty of nature. I like I said, to go for a run just to enjoy it. Same thing for walking. And in here, they put in here, it's talking about running the race. And
Perfect.
and you think about when you go to run a race, and you know what? If I run a race, I'm doing it for me. I'm not trying to compete to win a race as far as against others. If anything, I want to run the race, and it's like a race against myself. So it's like pushing myself to be, there's so much that I can be capable of. I want to be able to experience that. So whatever can help me to feel that way along the way. And I can be very capable of many things. So as far as not to run the race, it's not so much even just, I mean, to finish that finish line is always important, but to me also is along the way. Who do I inspire along the way? Who can I reach out to along the way to run this race with me? And that's why I'm hoping that all of you here today can run this race with me. Bex, we're running this race together. We're here for So that was one take I took in just from the first part of this book, and that immediately got me hooked.
Yeah, and I really love that quote, because you brought that quote to my attention when we were talking about the book, and I think it's so important. And I love how, it's great to read a book and it's great to think about it, but when you have people to talk about it with and make it deeper meaning, relate it more to your life, I think you get so much more out of it. And I feel like even just these experiences have brought you and I closer, like talking about life. And it's okay to talk about what's hurting and what's wrong and but the more we know we have each other's backs and we're in it together, running the race together, the better it is. And sometimes I think that's important to remember those things. For me, I'm going to be super vulnerable here, but, and I talk about this a lot when I'm working with educators, in numerous capacities. In my fifth year of teaching, I was really struggling with oh, is this what I want to do for the next 30 years of my life? Is this, what it's going to be? And I lost touch of my why. Actually, at that time, I didn't even know about the why. My why was, I want to make an impact, and that's everyone's why. So what makes you, like you said, get up out of bed every morning? What makes you motivated? And I started reading Simon Sinek's first book, which is Start With Why. And he really pushed me to my limits and made me think about why I'm doing what I'm doing. And it grounded me, and I reimagined what I'm doing and why. And so that's why I'm really excited, because I really want to take educators, community members, whoever, through this journey of finding your why. I'd highly recommend reading Start Your Why first, but then this is the sequel of it, Find Your Why. And we can help you walk through the process, because I'm not going to lie, it saved my future, my present, my past, and it's regrounded me in everything I do every day. And I'm with you, inspiring people. And when you said about the run, it made me think the beauty of these books. And I think we were intentional too. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we were intentional about we did books that could be audiobooks as well. So all of the books in our series, people could download them and listen to them on their ride to work or home or on their runs or whatever they want to do. So you don't need the paper copy. You can just get it on audio as well. So
yes.
Yeah. So Jim, any other comments that you want to think about for week 1 before we kick it off?
Well, I was just going to say, I thank you and bringing up your vulnerable moment. And you're welcome. And it made me think about a little bit of mine as well. And I keep thinking about, my life in general. It's like, if it were a book, how would this book look along the way? And I keep thinking about each part of my life as a chapter or exciting adventure. And at the same time, when some of these chapters are probably more of maybe more challenging moments of my life, or maybe I'm trying to find that purpose, find my why again. And even for me, I originally started off in as a substitute for elementary education. I always wanted to be an elementary teacher. And for some reason that brought me to working at the same time 2 jobs, to have benefits. But at the same time, I started to find the purpose of, I think there's a little bit more to me. So I started working for a behavior agency, working with students with some behavior challenges, and working with a student on the severe end of the spectrum for autism. And working with that student, and he tried, of course, he's like a typical teenager who tried to get away with so much and try to see how much we can push my buttons. I don't know what it was. Somehow the two of us bonded, connected. And for his mom to say to me, Jim, you need to go back to school and get your master's in special education. She said, you need to be a special education teacher. And I said, no, I don't think I can handle that. And she says, Jim, if you can handle my son, you can handle anyone. And it helped me to think, like, throughout that next year, I went back and I went back and I went back for my master's. And while I continued to work with the student for 2 years, and it led me to have another door open to become an autism support teacher for 7 years. And during those years, and I said, I had so many wonderful experiences. And there were times, I mean, I struggled as well. I was definitely not the perfect teacher. I mean, there were so many times I wish if I can go back and correct things, I would. But so far from perfect. But you know what? I've learned so many lessons, and I think it's helped me to grow through the years. And because of this journey, and there's other journeys I can share with you for another week, but by meeting my now wife and by this point, because we lived in 2 different areas, that's what helped me bring me to where I live in Montoursville. And it what helped me bring me here to Blast, IU17. And because of my years working as a teacher with students, my role was going to change where I would still see some students, but it was also working with professionals. And I thought, this is a different for me. So it helped me rethinking my purpose. And I'm thinking, am I really going to find an impact? And in so many ways, I think it's helped me to become more inspired.
Yeah. And we're gonna, like we talked about, we're gonna continue with our whys. I mean, we're not sharing our whys yet. We can't right away. But I think it's important to remember that your purpose and your why is always like evolving. My why when I worked with students is different now when I work with adults.
Yes.
And I think that's okay. And my other thing is, you know, I work with a lot of younger adults as well. And I think, especially in your mid-20s, you start to think about your why, or you're searching for happiness, or you're searching for your purpose, or you're searching, which is all great. But sometimes I think, and this comes back to what I've learned through this pandemic, we have to stop, pause, and think about the present, because sometimes our purpose isn't this mind-blowing kind of invention. It's not this and that. It's like right in front of us. And we keep searching, but it's right in front of us. So sometimes taking that pause and the time to just live in the moment. You know, I spent a lot of time in my 20s saying like, oh, I need to find happiness. Oh, I need to find happiness. Or this could be happiness. And I think it was right in front of me the whole time, and I didn't see it for what it was. And so throughout this journey, we have, you know, 4 book studies in the series. Again, it's not anything mandatory that you need to do all 4, right, Jim? We're just, you know, come and join us when you can. They will be available afterwards as well but we're excited to start this journey and run this race with you all. So
yes, Becky, those so many great words you just said right there, running the race, just as we move forward, and keep me in the moment. I mean, about the past. I always focus on the past, or I'm thinking about the future. But so many times, like you just said, we need to keep me in this moment. And there's just so many. That's just a quote. There's songs about it that I just love, and it's just keep me in the moment and help me to continue finding and experience what I am loving and what's important to us all around us at this time.
Right. And so, you know, we encourage you to grab someone to do this book study with you, or to do this self-exploration with you. Someone you trust, someone, I mean, your own comfortability. Jim's my person. I'm Jim's person. And to go through it together, run the race together. We look forward. We'll be back next Tuesday at around 8:30-ish. Depends on when our coffee's done brewing, but we'll be back next Tuesday to talk about jump into the introduction. And really, I think, Jim, we talked about diving into what is fulfillment versus happiness?
Yes, that is such a great question. So leading into next week, all of you, I would love you to start thinking about what is your fulfillment, what makes you happy, and what makes you feel fulfilled. And we will start to go into that next week. I cannot wait to work with all of you and throughout this. And like I said, we're all in this together. So let's start the race and let's be in this together.
Right. Keep feeling, think about when you're overbooked and what are you going to do to help with that? Bring that to next week as well. So great talking with you this morning, Jim. And
yes, great talking with you too, my friend.
I think I need another glass of coffee, or a cup of coffee, I should say.
I'm finishing my coffee and I'm switching to, I think today's a day for hot tea.
Ooh, I might be going to some pumpkin spice. Like you might have motivated me there. So.
Ooh, that's true.
All right. Well, you all have a great day and keep rocking it.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. Can't wait to see you again soon. Take care. Bye.